I'm going to shout out Ceres Fauna. Pretty cool.
Beast.
Pretty good streamer.
According to my
Yeah,
YouTube rewind, she's the one I watched most this year. And
nice.
she
Yeah,
had the second best model in EN.
a lot of her clips float up on my end too, and I don't really watch Ian stuff like at all. But yeah, it's pretty good.
So
All right, but think about it. Think about it. Germa starts streaming more regularly again. Fauna has to retire.
True, she needs to make
Think
time to
about
watch those streams, dude.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
Direct
yeah.
collab incoming?
out of all the graduations, this one probably hits me the most because I watched her the
Mhm.
most.
Nice. All right.
I'm just waiting for just two more, and then kaboom.
I mean, it's
What?
already kind of. I
Fucking
mean,
sweet
the
saying crony?
Yeah, I mean, I think like EN's kind of cooked at this point, right? Like, I think it's kind of Joe. Like, I don't
Yeah, I
the,
don't
know
know
the
what.
what.
thing is,
There's definitely something going on with Ian, for sure.
Yeah, like,
It's the split. I mean, it's kind of you can see of the ones that go to Japan frequently, they'll be fine. The ones that don't, there's definitely a split going on over there
I mean, also, I
on
mean,
the
it's
EN
not
side at
even.
least.
It's not the thing is, it's like, well, first of all, let's just put out. This is very obvious from the beginning, right? From the jump. No matter how many people try to tell us, like, no, excuse me, whole life and cover are different, sir. Because they're the safe and they have the kindest people, okay? Like, all
yeah,
True.
right.
I mean, it's like, listen,
We predicted
you
this
see these
from
They're the
like
numbers.
friendliest
2018 or
megacorp
something.
I know.
Yeah, well, because it's like it's one of those things where it's like, bro, you see these numbers, and it's like Agura should be like a fucking billionaire at this point, like, and we
But
obviously
but
know
I
that's not the case. So it's like
yeah. But I
something's
also
going on
think
there. It's not gonna work out
like
well for lower people.
yeah. Yeah,
Eventually, they're
the
gonna
cut just
realize
like that.
like these contracts are kind of ass compared to like what I'm bringing to the table here.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I was talking with somebody else, and it was like I did realize that obviously I think for the people who are able to bring in literally like a million followers, a million subs on YouTube and stuff like that, it's um it's become like a diseconomy of scale. So for those of you who don't know, an economy of scale, TLDR, is like the larger you grow and the more you kind of take over things in an industry, the more efficiently you are able to kind of like make profits, right? This economy of scale is the exact opposite, right? The bigger you grow, the harder it is to make production efficient. And for these bigger streamers, it's obviously become a diseconomy of scale, right? And they've probably noticed that and kind of moved on. But obviously, the worst case outcome is not just the fact that they're wanting more cuts and stuff like that, more a bigger cut of the pie, which would just be like a business decision, right? And they could part amicably. But if there are actual personality management problems, that's a big thing because that's a personal, emotional problem that they have then with the management and the agency, and that becomes um, bad, and that could potentially again be much more harmful to cover and whole life in the long run. But anyways, it's been predictable. It's been a long time coming. I personally thought that um I actually didn't think Coco was necessarily the last like big brick to fall. I think mentioned right when Coco, Kiryu Coco went away that she wasn't like she was one of the big bricks to go, but we needed a couple more, right? I think probably Aqua was the straw, right? And we're just seeing kind of the outflow from here on out. And obviously, maybe the pace will accelerate if somebody like a Noel or a Marine kind of dips or whoever, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean, if like somehow
But
like Corone like dips, it's like
oh god,
it's like really like any of them now. It's like
yeah.
gonna be the next one
Aqua
because that's
Aqua
gonna
started a
be
steady pace, but it's like the moment one of those like again my term for it is like crown jewels. One of those crown jewels gets like another one of those crown jewels after Aqua gets taken out. it's gonna be a tidal flow. It's gonna be a tidal wave. It's like
Yeah, I
it's
think it's just
Joker.
going to be curious to see if one of that happens, if like the JP
Mhm.
side happens first or the EN.
Yeah.
Because
The good
like
thing,
yeah, like I think
the
like you were saying, like
thing is,
Crony
yeah,
or fucking Crony or like Gura or someone like just fully leaving would be kind of like the death knell. I feel
Pretty
like for
bad.
EN, like that would be that would be rough.
Mhm.
Gura
Of
especially. Gura is like fucking doomsday. Like
Yeah.
of the ones that are getting their opportunities, you can kind of see there's a big gap between who's getting what and where they're going towards, or are they on the same path towards what Cover's doing right now? Because what is it, Mori Calliope, she's getting all these deals. So you say she's getting all these deals, but what about the other ones?
Yeah.
The ones that moved to Japan? Oh, gee, I wonder why they're getting all these new opportunities that others aren't.
Well, it's also, I mean, you're very correct about this like mainland versus everybody else thing that is prominent in literally all of these agencies, right? Niji Sanji being probably the most infamous one, right?
yeah,
Of the
because I mean,
agencies
clearly they
example.
don't know how to like actually mirror their fucking operations overseas. Like they just
Yeah,
No
yeah,
one
yeah.
from
knows
the
yet.
get-go. So it's been
It's
like,
uncharted waters for basically
But I
them.
actually, I would posit honestly that obviously Niji Sanji has their like outflux just because they have so many like streamers coming in and shit like that, and their model is like super whack. Um, but I posit, and this will be an unpopular take, but I'm prepared to be proven wrong. But I posit that actually Niji Sanji will have a more gradual descent than Hololive will. In
I don't think that's really
in
a
the
hot.
upcoming
I don't
years.
think that's really a hot take. I think
Well,
that's yeah.
the
I think it's
issue
pretty
is
like
the issue is right now Niji
believable
Sanji's
now.
still pretty low, right? Like they still haven't really recovered from like the Selen shit, right? Like
Yeah, but that's
that
also
was
Yeah,
a
all
yeah.
on
huge
the like
black
Ian
mark.
side too. Yeah,
Yeah, but
but I
I
think in
mean
terms of like the
that did
main
that did
Niji Sanji
definitely
branch, right?
affect
Yeah, that
Yeah,
affected them.
yeah.
I feel like the thing
Like
is
they
that
though
was
is
had to
that
coming
they've
from.
release
kind of like steadied
they
out.
had to
Yeah,
release that statement and everything. And like
yeah.
I feel like when the Selen stuff happened, the JP side was kind of like, yeah, whatever, right? But then when they
Yeah.
released that statement, and then the like financial reports came out, the JP
Mm,
side was like, oh fuck, like this is bad
mm,
actually, right? And
yeah.
I don't think
They got chunked out.
yeah, I don't think the reputation has really made that much of a comeback since, right? Like
Mm,
so.
Yeah. I
What
do
is
feel
it?
like it is possible though that if this I mean obviously it would be obvious if this continues at this pace effectively, like Niji would outlast, right? Just because of
well, the reason why I mentioned this is ultimately, much like there are corrupt models in terms of like streaming, and not just in Japan, but in places like Korea and China as well. But at the end of the day, Nisanji and Bispo and the others, well, Vispo is also kind of putting itself as an idol agency, but like Nisanji can has always branded and focused itself as a streaming agency, first and foremost, with like some coattail chasing of Hololive when Hololive was at their peak and stuff like that. But the this being said, because they're streamer focused, Nijisanji is more able to kind of just stay low and kind of suck the money from their kind of streamer strongholds, right? Like the most infamous being
yeah,
probably
they're able to
Konoha, right?
they're
With
basically able to
Kuzuha
fall
and the
back on
others.
just basic management,
They can
right? Like
lay quiet being streamers, right? But Hololive can't do that because they are branding themselves and they're pushing themselves into like this idol industry shit, right? This Japanese idol industry shit, right? And they're trying to move away from being a streamer focused agency, which is a completely different thing. And if you lose the branding and the idols in an idol focused agency, you get fucking deleted way faster than streamer
yeah, you
stuff.
can't like
And
yeah, like it's
there are
not
parallels
like
in
you're not gonna be
K-pop
able
as
to
well, right?
rebuild
It's
from
like, yeah,
that.
yeah. It's just they have much more meteoric ups and downs in terms of like trying to brand themselves with the idol stuff. So
Yeah, it's like you
it'll
could always
be
get another streamer, but like
Yeah.
And you'll find like streamers that are great and streamers that are popular, but it's like you're not capturing something like
Or even
Gura again.
scandal-laden streamers can just kind of lay quiet and keep getting their bag. That's the thing. But
Yeah, they
like,
could keep.
you can't
Yeah,
really
they
do
could
that with
just
an
keep.
idol. Yeah.
Yeah, they could just keep streaming. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I
So,
mean, it also
yeah.
it also definitely makes people look differently. I feel like even in a different way at
Mhm.
things like Hololive, because people are definitely now looking at like what is the permanence of
Yeah.
even like investing in like time and like care in these like idol characters effectively when
Yeah.
they're just going to be gone, and
The
realistically like my
yeah, the
allegiance
investment
has
people will
always been to
definitely
just the
be
streamer anyway.
yeah, exactly. The VCs will definitely be taking a closer look at like what's going on. And VCs and investors and funds are a very, 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 very flighty bunch. They are even more flighty than the flightiest of female VTuber streamers. Let me just tell you. And the
I am
first
curious
sign
to
of
know
like
too. I'm
yeah.
curious to know if that flightiness too also was actually helped by things like the Dodgers deal and
Oh
shit
yeah,
like
for
that.
sure. Because
Like
like
seeing
older
those
people are
deals
just like
pop off and
sports.
just being like,
Yeah, yeah.
the fucking Dodgers merch made how much money and I'm getting paid fucking how much?
Yeah,
Like, all
because
right.
if you think about it, even esports couldn't pull off what VTubers did, right? Like Overwatch League literally tried to hook up with like sports teams, right? But then they fucking failed. Um, VTubers, or not VTubers, but Hololive, right? Managed to succeed where literally Overwatch itself couldn't, right? Like,
Yeah, and that was Blizzard.
so
Yeah, that was Blizzard dumping like fucking billions into that shit.
yeah, exactly. So obviously, the older people on there, especially, are like, "What? You guys hooked up with like an
Well,
actual freaking sports team?" But obviously, again, since they are flighty, they'll look at this sort of like sudden wave of resignations, be like, "Wait a minute, what's happening here?" Kind of thing. So we'll see what happens.